I hear the call of the stars.
G'day guys, Duckville here. Game number 2 between sixjaxDDE and Startale's Ace. Of course, this is going to be on the Zelnaga Caverns, of course, one of the most balanced maps in the, well, at least the 1v1 map pool, of course. This is a pretty cool map, which a lot of people love, and as we can see, it is the restricted version where you can't actually wall off down the bottom of the ramp, so no shenanigans, although you rarely ever see those in this particular matchup. But we'll see what Ace is going to do this time. He did have to deal with a very, very threatening mech army in the previous game, of course. Once he did survive that first initial push, I felt like the rest of the game was totally in his control at that point. That's the key part of versing a meching Terran, is if you can stop the initial push, which usually does come about with somewhere around 10 tanks or so and around about 15 to 20 Hellions, you can actually do a good job of actually taking the game from there, because you know that the Terran is very much committed to a factory-based setup. And if you switch to carriers and you do it at the right time, as Ace did, you can actually just easily clean up the game. So we'll see what DDE is going to do this time. He's just playing around with this supply depot at the moment, but perhaps just a little bit of nerves creeping in there, or perhaps he just misclicked it. I'm not sure, but Arax does go down. It looks as if he's going to go for a standard opening. No crazy cheese from either of these players. Have seen Ace cheese before. He's done in a PvP. I've seen him do a proxy 3-gate, which was quite interesting to see. But other than that, you don't really see Ace do too many crazy things like that. But he is going to scout out right now. He does have the gate down, doing as the standard sort of thing is for many Protoss players on these very restricted 1v1 maps, where you actually scout out after the gateway is up. So he's just keeping up with the economy there. He's going to be getting that gas started right about now, and he is going to see what DDE is up to. And as we can see, just scouting through here, checking out what gas is done, and it sees that the orbital command will go up straight away. As we can see there, he is trying to put some harassment on those SCVs. Not going to get too much done, I would think, unless he's really going to focus on that. But he's not Huck. He's not going to go crazy with the harassment and do an amazing job with that. He does try and come in here, maybe going to try and pick off that, but I'm not sure. Either way, as mentioned in game number 1, this is from the Geforce Starcraft Pro-Am tournament, which is taking place at the moment. Still a few more weeks to go in that, so make sure you jump onto geforce.com and check that out. There have been some amazing games. Of course, most of the casting being done by the Game Station and Husky and Day 9, so make sure you go and check out some of those games, which are also up and running. Especially, I would probably suggest the Boxer versus Cruncher games, which look to be pretty cool. I haven't actually watched all of them yet, but the first game was a bit of fun. Warpgate Tech on the way here for Ace. He's going to be getting that up as per standard. A hidden pylon, or not a hidden pylon, but a pylon down in the corner. You don't always see one down there. Let's see if this SCV actually spots that. I'll be a bit surprised if he does head down there and spot it. Not actually really checking the pylons just at the moment, I don't think. He is going to come down to the side. There he goes. He does actually check it out. So he does find that extra pylon was down there in the corner. Is a little bit suspicious to see something like that. So we'll keep an eye on whether DDE actually does something in as a reaction to that. The standard sort of thing would be perhaps to get an engineering bay, get up some turrets to make sure you are protected against DTs, but the turret can also help against any Stargate play that may come along. And as we can see here, there will be some Stargate plays, so we'll have to see what Ace is going to be up to here. Probably looking to do something like a Void Ray play. It is pretty much a little bit of a standard on this map. You do see a lot of Protoss players do that when they're against the Terran here, just mainly because you can sit the Void Ray off to the side, pump away at the blast away at the wall, which is normally there, and then just let your stalkers do the rest of the work, in fact, when they get to the base. But what we can see, Phoenix. Alright, that's a little bit interesting there. Have seen a few Phoenix plays from Protoss against Terran, where they actually just jump around the map with it's like 4 to 5 Phoenix and just do a little bit of harassment there, just picking off the odd lonely Marine, which may be forever alone if they're not standing next to their buddies like this. Or one thing you can do is also picking up mules and taking their them out, which it's a really weird thing where you can jump in. If you were to pick up this mule right here, no one would actually care because it's not actually going to get back to the command center with its minerals, as we'll see in just a second. There you go. But the other thing you can do is also pick off the SCVs which are mining at the gas. Sometimes that can be really frustrating for some players when they actually start losing gas and they're like, where did that come from? And their SCVs aren't in there properly. But as you can see, we've got 2 Phoenix out at the moment here. We're going to see them scouting around. That's the other advantage of having the Phoenix in the mix at the moment. And as we can see, he's just pumping through here. He's going to pick up one of these mules. He does pick up this one here. Going to take that one out. Is he going to get the second one? I don't think so, but these little bit of micro there needed to make sure that these Phoenix stay alive. Actually losing some of the actual health on this top Phoenix here is going to do a little bit of harassment on these things at the front here, doing a little bit of damage to that command center, picking off an SCV that was attempting to build a bunker, and I'm sure that is pretty rude if you were that SCV. It's just halfway through work and suddenly gets picked up off the job and gets blasted away by some Phoenix. Not cool at all, man. But looks as if the this Phoenix cover is going to be interesting because he's actually expanded behind it and he's only now getting his second and third gates. Very, very cool play here from Ace. I was about to say from Phoenix. To do this particular play. He's got 4 Phoenix out at the moment. I believe there is another one on the way as well. We'll just see this up to the corner here. There it is. And he does have 5 Phoenix in total. These guys can pick off Marines from time to time if they're really carefully microed. He can jump in there and pick off one. Does pull out one lonely Marine. Does take it out. Beautiful work there by Ace. He's done a great job of keeping these alive for the moment. As we said, key part of this is actually to keep them alive as long as you can, and not to mention to scout. Actually taking out 2 of those mules that were there and then retreating, only losing 1 Phoenix. Pretty good job there. He's not actually making any more just at the moment, so he's done with that. He's going to skip on to the normal style of play here. Has the Forge out, up and running. He's probably going to grab +1 armor, I would assume. That's sort of more of a normal sort of strategy that you do against the Terran, is to get the +1 to armor. It really helps out with the Zealots against all sorts of units that the Terrans have. But in fact, he's going to get +1 to weapons. Make me look like a fool. That's a bit crazy, you know. Ace is just sitting there. What's Duckphil think I'm going to do? I'm going to do something else. Oh yeah. He's got his troll face on. That's what he's doing. But another gateway coming down at the front of the natural there for Ace. He's going to bring it to a total of 4. Chronoing away at that +1 weapons, as well as getting a Twilight Council. So he's probably going to look to do, I would think, what's he sitting on at the moment? He's currently got some Stalkers, we got some Sentries, and of course those Phoenix as well. The other cool part about the Phoenix is if you can keep them alive, and that's the key part, especially when you're against this type of army, is you can use them later on to lift up the tanks, and that can massively sway a battle. I tell you what, if you can lift up some tanks when they are sieged and then just come in and just destroy the rest of the bio army that's left over, you can actually do a heap of damage and sometimes even kill a Terran. A lot of players who have trouble with the 1-1-1 build, from time to time, if you do it right, you can actually beat that 1-1-1 when they have siege tanks with some Phoenix, because the Phoenix are used to lift up the tanks, and then there's not as much left over with the 1-1-1 build apart from the Banshee and those Marines on the ground. So that's one thing to think about if you are against that particular type of play. But as we can see here, Ace is not going to have to deal with that. He's going to have to deal with having a lot of gateways. We're going to have a total of 8 gateways out on the field at the moment for Ace, so he's doing a fantastic job with his macro there. Looks as if we are going to have a little bit of a push here from DDE. He's got 4 tanks, a bunch of Marines, a couple of Marauders, and a few Vikings in the sky, bringing along 1 more SCV just to keep it all nice and dandy. He's going to check out the watchtower there. Going to have to move into position. He did scan up ahead just to see what was happening at the front of Ace's base. Saw the tail end of this force now pushing out into the middle of the map. I'll be interested to see exactly how Ace handles this. This is a pretty hefty force here. He's got a lot of Marines in the mix there, along with those SCVs to repair the tanks. This could get quite dicey. Speaking of dicey, there goes that Marine. He was just cut up into small pieces like a celery and just removed from the map there. But now it looks as if Ace is going to have to deal with some of these forces. Beautiful force fields there. The sorry, not the Archons, the Zealots just getting their charge up and running, and they are going to be able to do some damage there to the rest of this force. But it looks as if DDE is going to do the good thing and actually just retreat for the moment. Knows that there's a lot to worry about on the ground as well as in the sky. As we can see, these Phoenix still doing a good job of just poking around the map. May try and actually head into the main base and pick off some of these SCVs perhaps, while he actually rallies up all his forces at this Elnaga watchtower. And in fact, he's actually going to take a third base over here on those behind that rock position here. Probe valiantly putting down a pylon just probably as its last will and testament there, but it looks as if the Phoenix up in the sky are doing a little bit of work here, taking out some units. This guy's got 2 kills and the others have a few kills as well, but he's doing a really good job with those. I really love that he's keeping those in the mix and not sacrificing them. A lot of the time when people actually get Phoenix and they go for this funny style of harassment play, you see them actually just go in and just go crazy and just go sit on the turret, take out SCVs, sure, but then they lose those Phoenix, which provides you with a lot of scouting, which is one thing which it can be sometimes a little bit of trouble to do against a Terran. So it's good to see that he isn't just sacrificing those blindly. But DDE, meanwhile, has been doing a great job with his economy. As we can see, he's keeping up with Ace at the moment. Whilst he is behind a little bit in the actual work account, he's still actually doing a decent job. But now we do have a bit of a menacing force coming out from Ace. He's currently got 4 Archons in the mix. A few sentries are in there. They do have a little bit of energy left to use their force fields, and it looks as if they may have a little bit of trouble. But no, the Vikings are just going to retreat at the moment there. The Vikings are not able to pick up any of those leftover Phoenix that are in the sky. So the extra command center now going down for DDE. He's going to look to expand. I would presume he'd probably want to look to take the gold, considering the rocks are gone, and it's probably one of the better positions to be in as a Terran is having that gold base. Gives you just so much economy, and especially with mules, you can just pump away at a whole heap of production facilities. And now we can see that the Phoenix are trying to come into the main base here, picking off one of those SCVs on the gas, picking off 2. Maybe he'll get a third. No, he won't, because he's going to have to retreat. These Phoenix are going to be targeted down by those Vikings. They do escape. They are just quite a bit faster than those Vikings, of course. The Vikings do have the range of about 7 screens, but just not enough to actually keep up with those Phoenix. And it looks as if DDE is now going to move out, considering this command center is almost done. He's probably going to move out just to secure this gold base position. And if he can just hold this sort of area here, he'll be in a really nice spot. He'll probably get a planetary fortress up and just make sure that that gold base is nice and protected. But again, Ace doing a fantastic job splitting up his units. He did this in the last game with his Stalkers, actually did really well. Just sort of keeping things split up makes it seem as if there aren't as many, or it can actually give you a beautiful flanking position. But meanwhile, speaking of flanking, just down here at the third base, Blue Flame Hellions and this is a huge attack force from DDE coming inside the third, trying to do what they can. Did force the probes to retreat, but it looks as if there was another counter attack down at the southern side near DDE's base. But he is going to have to be very careful here. He may lose some of these Zealots to these Blue Flame Hellions. The Hellions do have their Blue Flame, but they don't actually have any extra vehicle upgrades, and the tank's sieging up. Quite a threatening sight, and those Zealots are going to have to retreat for the time being. Looks as if DDE is going to have to deal with some of these forces, though. They are trying to run through here. The Guardian Shield is up, taking off, sort of dispersing some of the damage from the Marines. Pushing in now with the Archons at the front. This could do a lot of damage. Storms going on at the backside of that attack there, taking apart some of those units. A beautiful job there by Ace to actually just tear apart those tanks and now proceed to push through the base here. But it looks as if he does have a drop commencing in the third base. The Zealots are going to just charge up and take care of all of that. No trouble at all. But just we're still sort of wondering what exactly DDE is going to switch into here. He does have the Ghost Tech here. Just a little bit of an interesting mix, I think it is, with these the Hellions and this Bio Force. It's just not enough to actually deal with this very, very heavy, gas-heavy force that that Ace has. Not to mention all of these Zealots that are in the mix as well. So we'll see what DDE is going to do. Probably going to switch into something a little bit more concrete in just a second, or perhaps something a little bit more bio style. In fact, it is going to be a little bit more bio. Got a lot of racks on the way. Going to be able to produce some of these ghosts, which he does already have started. He's got a couple on the way. A drop just coming through here from DDE. He's going to try and just sweep by that Nexus that was building. Ace did not see that one, so we're going to have a drop just coming through up at the main base here. We'll probably see if he can pick off some of the leftover probes that are here at the main. Of course, some of them really grouped up there, but Ace has spotted it. He's going to try and blink up with these Stalkers. Going to take out one, maybe two of those Hellions that are there. Going to get rid of a couple of those, and then there is another attack drop just inside the natural expansion. Ace way too prepared for this. Whoops in, brings in a couple more of those Stalkers, disposes of those Hellions quite easily, and that will be the end of that. So Ace, meanwhile, is expanding to this 4th base, as we mentioned. Probably wants to put a couple of cannons down if he can spare the minerals. But what he does have to worry about is this attack that's just coming through the west side of the map here at the moment. Just had to check my compass just to make sure that was the right space. But he is actually securing the gold expansion while he's doing all of this. Good job there by DDE. Does have to worry about these forces that are just up here at the watchtower on the eastern side. Got a few Archons in the mix there, along with these Zealots, which do have +3 to their weapons and +1 to armor. And now, in fact, double-pronged attack may occur from Ace. It looks as if he's going to come in from the sides, and does come through. He does actually have some brilliant positioning there. Guardian Shields going off, actually way before the EMPs commence. So Guardian Shield will stay up for the time being. I think DDE may have enough, considering he does have supporting forces just coming down. The Vikings landing because there's nothing for them to do in the sky, so they're going to drop down on the ground and say hello. And DDE does force that back, so that's actually a really good job to keep that attack force at bay. The Observer just hanging over the top, not actually able to do anything because they're a bit lazy in that regard. Sniping out some of these mules, good job there by Ace, and he's going to blink away. Now, the issue for Ace is that if he doesn't actually do some sort of tech switch as soon as he can, he could be at the mercy of those EMPs. Now, he does, of course, have the robotics facility, doesn't have a robo bay just yet, so he is going to need that if he's going to switch into Colossus, which is certainly a possibility he could utilize, but I'm just a bit worried about what he is going to do here. He is going to lose his position, going to sacrifice that to some of these mech units which are sitting out here. Probably want to see DDE grab the tower there just to make sure he can see what is going on here. A little bit surprised this 4th base is still up and running. I would have expected some crazy Hellion work there from DDE. What those Hellions are doing for the moment, though, is just pushing up through the east side of the map, just trying to take out some of those extra units which were at the watchtower. Leaving this Marine here gives him good vision, but of course he is going to go down to these Archons, which give him the don't argue fist, and he goes down straight away. But Ace still in a decent position. Let's have a look at where the economy is at the moment. Currently sitting on around about 1800. Hold that thought. We've actually got an attack into the gold base while DDE was out of position here. We actually have a decent force just popping in through this side, and may see a flanking attack off to the west side of the map there, but he is going to stick there just for the moment. Not actually committing to that. Going to try and take out some of these units that are coming for him. But of course, this huge mix. This is an insane mix. He's got Marines, he's got Marauders, he's got Ghosts, he's got the Medivacs to help out with the healing, and the tanks, of course, as well. So this is just so much for Ace to deal with, especially with this very gateway-based force, of course. We've got one random Immortal in there just for kicks, but he's not going to do too much unless the tanks are in range, not to mention the EMP will chew up that Immortal, of course. But just seeing that DDE is really starting to control the map now with this Bio Force. Trying to come in the back here with some Zealots here is Ace. He's going to try and just pop through the back, but he's going to be spotted by that supply depot, and this looks as if this 4th base is going to go down. He's going to lose the pylons, won't be able to warp in, I would assume, but it looks as if DDE is just going to go straight for that Nexus, going to lose that quick smart. Meanwhile, an attack commencing at the gold. We've got a couple of tanks in the mix there to actually help defend this. Zealots are going to have nothing to say about that, though. They just run through everything, tearing it all apart with their +3 to weapons, +2 to armor, and the Immortal will also have something to say as well. But it looks as if this weird biomech mix is going to come in from the side and clean up the rest of these forces that are left over, and DDE is actually going to hold that for the time being. The Zealots have decided they're going to go their own way and try and run up into the base. The supply depot, not actually enough for them to actually hold out these Zealots, and they do move inside. They are going to get a little bit of damage done, but it's not really going to be too much to deal with. Given that DDE can just pull back and actually take that out. But with the 4th base now gone, DDE is definitely in a commanding position here, trying to cut across to the left-hand side. And is going to try and rip up these remaining Protoss forces. I really feel as if DDE is in a strong position here with these Blue Flame Hellions doing so much damage to those ground forces. And it looks as if the Bioforce is just in such a great number. He is going to actually do some great healing here with these Medivacs. And I would say that could even be it for Ace. He's just starting to get quite low on his mining, given that he's only got this base left over. He's just about mined out on that natural expansion, but that is pretty much it, unless he can get something up and running. He's trying to secure this gold base. Probe's going to have a go at those rocks and probably get them down in around about 10 millennium, but he's then going to be able to put the Nexus down at least. But meanwhile, just another attack through the middle here. Perhaps DDE is going to go for the final push, just waiting for some more reinforcements of these bio units. Look at them just streaming out of the base there as well, and he is going to be able to secure this game, I would think. But just sort of making sure that he actually is in the best position possible. Of course, you don't want to just commit to an attack and then just be startled by something different, or perhaps if there was just something wacky that came out of Ace again, perhaps, you know, there could be some carriers waiting in the wings. But I feel as if DDE has done a good job here. He is not actually going to push in just yet. Perhaps he is. He's just picking out at what's going on here. The medevac's still in the sky. He's just sort of waiting to see what is going to happen here. He's getting in position here. This could be a bad position. He is actually cornered. Zealots coming in from the top of the ramp. Archons are going to have something to say about these units backed into the corner. Zealots now tanking as well as doing damage. The Archons just ripping through everything. As you can see, they are just taking apart all of that and trying to retreat with these leftover medevacs is DDE. He's done a decent job of doing some damage, but he is going to lose pretty much everything he has unless these supporting units come up, which they do, and he is going to keep some of these medevacs at least for the time being. Gold base, meanwhile, just have a look at that. Mined out already. A lot of those mills were dropped down there, of course, and now this the fourth base down to the bottom right-hand side is going to be taken from DDE, and he is just going to be in such a commanding lead with this Bioforce out and up and running here. He's just going to be doing so much damage. They do have +3 to their weapons, but no armor. Interesting choice there by DDE to not actually spend anything on that armor. Probably wanted to save some of his resources for this interesting mech mix-up which he's got with the Hellions, of course, along with these ghosts. He does need a lot to power to build, sorry, those ghosts. And we'll see what his next plan is. It looks as if one probe is just hanging out here. Does not have a pylon being built, but the probe is just checking out what's cracking. You can see what's scouting, what's being done here. He's not happy with that. He wants to protest against that, but he's not going to get much done, given that he's a probe and he's only got a taser. But the gold base attempt is now on for Ace. He's going to see if he can get this up and running. If he can, he could be coming back. Perhaps I can maybe see that, but I just feel that DDE is in such a powerful position at the moment here. He is going to have to deal with these stalkers up on the top of the cliff there. Not going to be able to do too much, given that these bioforces are right nearby, and they do take out one of the stalkers. Perhaps another one. No, he actually blinks away just in time. And this is getting very, very interesting for Startale's Ace. Just having a look at the actual income here for the moment. Ace currently sitting at a lowly 1300, given that he's only on the 1 and, for the moment, a half a base. And DDE currently sitting on around about 2300, given that he's got a whole heap of SCVs mining out here. He's got some mules that were down as well, and he should be in a very commanding position in just a second. We do see some Hellions getting a little bit adventurous, trying to attack into that Archon Zealot force. Now he looks like he is going to try and start pushing in. He does have, certainly, I would think that's way more than enough to actually deal with that force that is on the ground at the moment, just a couple of stims, and he should be able to rip that apart. But Zealots are going to have something to say about that. They're trying to come in through the side. EMP's beautifully done there by DDE. Splitting up the forces at the moment is Ace. He's done a fantastic job of doing that every single time, and he is going to keep a lot of these units alive for the moment. Some of the Zealots are actually quite low on their shields while they're recharging. The Templar are still safe and sound for the moment, but may want to try and split them up a little bit further just to make sure that he is actually not going to get stomped by an EMP. But here comes the attack. It looks as if an EMP did go down, taking out the energy on every single Templar that was there. No storms for Ace, and it looks as if this could be the final blow to Ace in this particular game, and it looks as if we are going to go to game number 3 with the scores tied at 1-1. DDE doing a fantastic job here, just microing his forces back and forth, utilizing Stim, of course, making them do a lot of damage. And there go the last of the units, and there is a GG from Ace. So great play there by DDE, controlling a lot of the map, taking this gold very early to make sure he supplemented all of his income there, and did a great job of actually just holding out against this this huge gas force that Ace initially had at the start of the game. So we'll go into game number 3 with the scores tied between sixjaxDDE and ST Ace at 1-1. Cheers.